At the University of Canberra's School of Architecture, these master's students have been awarded grants to research the city's housing future.
I do hope that the sorts of outcomes that I find could benefit higher density housing outcomes. I hope that they could start to inform things in housing design guides or things like that.
Knowing that a lot of Canberra is that low rise, there's a lot of potential, I think, for increasing the supply and diversity.
The ACT government says the students' findings will feed into work that could change the look and density of the city's suburbs, about 70% of which are zoned RZ1, which is your standard house on a block.
Townhouses, terraces, walk-up apartments are effectively prohibited in most residential zones in Canberra. The government wants to make a change to allow those types of missing middle homes in residential suburbs.
The Minister showed us what could be allowed by proposed amendments to the Territory Plan, starting in suburban Holder.
This used to be a single residential dwelling on a 1,000 square metre block, and then it was demolished in 2020 and 3 new homes were built. How many homes you can fit on a block will really depend on the block and how much room there is, what the existing trees are. We've kept a site coverage requirement of 45%.
Next, we went to Bruce to look at what could be done closer to main roads, suburban shops and services.
These homes have pretty high ceiling heights, so under the design guide and the Territory Plan amendment that we're proposing, we want to retain the low-rise character of our suburbs, and so we're only proposing to allow 2-storey townhouse terrace developments in the suburbs, and then for RZ2 areas allowing up to 3 storeys. So that still enables a quite significant development to occur, but one that fits in with the existing streetscape.
And in O'Connor, the Minister pointed out the type of development that could be built where several residential zone blocks are combined.
So a range of blocks were consolidated, just under 3,000 square metres, and so they've been able to deliver a large number of homes but still provide some open space as well for the residents and access to some of the services that are close by.
With Canberra's population expected to exceed 780,000 by the 2060s and proposed limits to urban expansion, those who've experienced demand firsthand say more choice is sorely needed.
The property market is cooked. I was a student at the time at ANU, and that was a terrible situation. At the end of that house search, which actually took me about 4 months, I actually ended up being homeless for about 10 days because we finally managed to get a place, but we didn't get it in time.
Missing middle advocates argue some of the proposed limitations should be even further relaxed.
When we have these debates over planning, a lot of it comes down to people saying, well, I don't like the look of new townhouses versus old kind of, ex-govies. But that shouldn't be what this is about. This should be about the fact that we're in a situation where a lot of people are in poverty due to housing, and we are making our city a worse place to live. And by making changes like this, we can change that.
Property and building industry groups are also welcoming the government's proposals, but they warn housing construction won't meet targets without cutting more red tape.
We're seeing that builders can wait up to 30 months for a dual occupancy, and that is not good enough. We're hopeful that as this design guide becomes clear, the changes to the Territory Plan come in place, that we will be able to introduce new express permitting.
Most parties in the Legislative Assembly provided support for more missing middle housing reform at the election, so we expect that there will be support for this, but this is a very detailed piece of work, and so we'll be presenting that detail to get community input.
Attempting to find the middle ground. Harry Frost, ABC News, Canberra.